Hello and welcome to the Day Ahead. It is Friday, May the 1st. I'm Andrew Gagan. Well, the local market is set to break its run of losses with ASX futures up 1.5%. Global equity markets rallied overnight as oil prices fell, with European shares jumping more than 1% for their biggest monthly gain in more than a year. Strong US economic data and positive earnings results boosted sentiment on Wall Street, sending the S&P 500 and Nasdaq to new record highs, both indices recording their biggest monthly percentage gains since 2020. And the volatility index is at its lowest level since prior to the beginning of the war in the Middle East. Apple reported results that beat Wall Street estimates, with its new MacBook model leading sales growth, while supply constraints hindered iPhone sales. Revenue rose 17% to $111 billion for the quarter, while it achieved a profit of $2.01 a share. Its shares fell around 1% in after-hours trade. Alphabet shares surged after reporting a record quarter for its cloud unit, while Amazon also rose. However, Meta and Microsoft fell heavily on concerns over AI-related capital expenditure. Atlassian's revenue for the quarter rose 32% year on year to $1.8 billion, sending its shares soaring more than 18% in extended trade. Eli Lilly shares jumped after the drug maker raised its annual profit forecast on sustained weight loss drug demand. Caterpillar shares hit a record high following the company's increase in first quarter profit due to strong demand for its power generation and construction equipment. MasterCard beat Wall Street estimates for first quarter profit as resilient consumer spending supported sustained transaction volumes on its network. And Reddit forecast second quarter revenue above analyst estimates, betting on its AI-powered tools to boost advertising on its platform, sending its shares up around 9% in extended trade. Well, US economic growth regained speed in the first quarter, growing at 2% annualised rate as businesses boosted investment in AI and government spending rebounded, but the pickup is seen as temporary, with the Middle East conflict raising inflation and eroding household purchasing power. Meanwhile, the European Central Bank left interest rates unchanged as expected, but policymakers debated a hike to combat soaring inflation, with it jumping to 3% this month, well above the ECB's 2% target. And the Bank of England kept its policy rate on hold at 3.75% as widely expected. Governor Andrew Bailey saying it would be a mistake to wait to see second round effects before acting, because then it would be too late. Well, global bond yields have fallen as oil prices retreated from 4-year highs. The US 2-year Treasury yield falling to 3.88%, the 10-year was at 4.88. However, Australian 3-year government bond yields rose to 4.7%, the 10-year was at 5.03%. The US dollar has fallen to its lowest level against the yen in 2 months after Japan intervened to prop up its currency, its first official currency action in nearly 2 years. That sent the Japanese currency up around 3%. The Aussie, that has risen to 72 US cents. Iran has said it would respond with long and painful strikes on US positions if Washington renewed attacks on the country, while it also restated its claim to exercise control over the Strait of Hormuz. However, oil prices eased after hitting a 4-year high of more than $126 a barrel earlier on Thursday. Brent crude futures settling down around 3.5% to close to $114 a barrel. Gold rose on a softer US dollar and easing oil prices, but has registered a second straight monthly decline as inflation concerns amid the ongoing Iran war cloud the outlook for interest rate cuts. Spot gold trading at around $4,620 an ounce. Copper rose 1.5%. Iron ore is up at $110 a ton, and Bitcoin is trading above 76,000 US dollars. On the data docket locally today, March quarter producer prices will be released along with S&P Global's PMI manufacturing data. And on the corporate calendar, Coles and ResMed releasing result updates, and ANZ has reported a first half interim profit of $3.78 billion. That's up 6% on the previous first half. That is your day ahead. See you again on Monday.